very serious expression, which as if he is ready to fight another battle. Now, behind him, he is actually standing in a Roman Colosseum, that is, in which there are red flags hanging on those stone walls. Now, in skill set down, he has 5 exact skills tiles, which is the reading and learning, fighting, leading, commanding, and also strength. Strength in which he is strong enough to fight for a very long time in a battle. Reading, and because he have learned from those various books since he was little. And at the same time, fighting, because he is very good at making smart battle plans. He is also good at leading these other soldiers for the battle to start. Now, in the league system, he believes that to be part of them, you must be strong and smart enough to serve the Roman. And in social function, he protects the Rome in battle. And also, he gives advice to the leaders during his school times. In educational background, his name is Maximus. Ever since when Maximus was little, he would go to school and also train to be a warrior. And in which he learned reading, writing, and also learning how to fight. So this is all about Maximus. I just shortened it, so I hope you appreciate the art and the description in which we actually produced here. Thank you very much. That can write, read, and understand both scientific and religious texts. So now, let's know what knowledge or skills are being taught. So first is that students are being taught on how to read, or students learn to read religious texts and scholarly works, because reading is really important for them specifically so that they can really understand the Islamic teachings and scientific knowledge. And they are also being taught on how to write, and so that they can fully, or they can easily record their knowledge, and they can write or copy manuscripts, and also so that they can easily express or communicate their ideas clearly and quickly. And next one is that students at this period are also being taught mathematics, so that they can develop their intellectual capacity, and they can apply this in practical use. And later on, the Arabic numerals are influenced by the Western education. So students in this period also studied their during this time are strongly focused on Islamic religious literature and conducted in mosque. So the non-Muslim had really difficult access and they can rarely have access to it since they don't have the same access to this religious-based instruction as those who are Muslims. And the last one is that let's know what beliefs, norms, or behavior are intentionally developed. So religious devotion during this period are being developed where they have their strong commitment to Islamic beliefs and practices, and they also develop their respect for knowledge since they value their scholarship, learning, and also their intellectual growth. So they also develop their intellectual discipline, and also, lastly, their contribution to society's needs using this knowledge in science, mathematics, and medicine really helps them to contribute or improve for the betterment of their community. So now let's move to our avatars for the Arabic period. So let me introduce to you our avatar in Arabic period. So his name is Hakim al-Farid, which means that he is a servant of knowledge and guidance of wisdom. So he is a typical educated citizen in this period. So Hakim wears a long flowing robe and turban wrapped around his head, symbolizing dignity and scholarship. So the cloak is a traditional loose-fitting and ample-length robe worn by men in Arabian Peninsula. And his facial expression here is golden, symbolizing wisdom and discipline. Hakim here carries a manuscript and a reed pen and mathematical scrolls written in Arabic numerals. And his environment was either inside a mosque, or a court learning center, surrounded by books and Islamic geometric patterns that symbolize unity and order. So in terms of skills, Hakim possesses strong abilities in reading and writing in Arabic, advanced mathematics such as algebra, geometry, and the use of Arabic numerals. He also knows medical knowledge such as the herbal treatments and surgery basics. And in religious scholarship, including the Quranic interpretation from Greek text to Arabic, and these skills made him highly respected in the society. So Hakim's belief is firmly rooted in Islamic teachings. He believed that seeking knowledge is a form of worship, and he values discipline, moral conduct, intellectual growth, and service to the community. And for Hakim, education is not separated from religion. Instead, religion serves as a guide to how knowledge is used. So, socially, Hakim serves as a scholar, a teacher, or a court advisor. He teaches students in mosques or court schools. He also advises leaders and contributes to the advancement of mathematics and medicine. And he plays an important role in preserving and translating the classical works from Greek and Roman civilization. And Hakim's educational background begins in a mosque school, where he learns reading, writing, and Quranic studies. The students there also memorizes religious texts and studies Islamic laws, and those who excel can continue their studies in advanced centers like the House of Wisdom in Baghdad. There, they can engage in deeper studies like manuscript copying, discussions, and mentorship with excellence. Their commitment to knowledge significantly influenced the global education, especially in medicine and mathematics. So that would be our report.
Okay, thank you so much, group number 1 and 2. It's 5:40 now, PM already, and we cannot accommodate another presenter po kasi we lack the time, okay? So, I'll be giving my comments and suggestions regarding your presentation. Those who will be having the presentations by next meeting po can take note of these suggestions, okay? Parang ang sama nung pag ito yung nauna. Ganun yung feeling, no? Tapos nakakakaba din siya. Anyways, wala tayong magagawa kasi ganun po talaga yun. Ganun ang buhay, no? It's unfair and we need to accept it. Okay, so these are the comments and suggestions for the two presenters. Let's start first with the first one, by the way. They discussed the primitive era and the Greek era, right? Okay, so number 1, you notice there, gawin natin sandwich method. If you're familiar with the sandwich method, in giving comments. And by the way, I hope that you take this constructively, the comments that I will be giving you kasi baka pagkatapos nito, ano yung tingin niyo sa akin, parang first din ako dun sa